In the NBA, you have to pretend that Bronny's an NBA player, because otherwise you'll upset the king. Bronny, in a terrible draft, I defended as the 55th pick.
There's going to be a microscopic eye, even more intensified, on Bronny James because of his dad.
Every NBA locker room runs on an unspoken code. No one writes it down or hangs it on the wall, but the moment you step through those doors, you can feel it. In the NBA, roster spots are priceless. Only 15 players per team, no more. And behind every single spot are hundreds of players chasing the same dream, hoping for just one real opportunity to prove they belong. That's what makes every roster decision so serious. One player getting a chance often means another player loses theirs. In a league this competitive, nothing is guaranteed, and every spot carries the weight of countless sacrifices, years of hard work, and dreams that may never get another shot.
In the NBA, you have to pretend that Bronny's an NBA player, because otherwise you'll upset the king. And remember, he is a 6'2" guard that's a non-point guard. I've never seen that existing in the current NBA. And go back 20 years. He is 1 for 16 in the NBA from the floor, 0 for 7 on threes. He's not an NBA player. He was not a great high school player. He was a good high school player. He wasn't a good college player. He was a college player. And he's not an NBA player. And he may be a great kid. I'm sure he is. LeBron's a nice guy. I've met him.
I just looked it up. League top scorers, points per game. I went through 50, and there's no Bronny James in there. He had 140-point game. Other games were 1. So now you do the math, and it's not going to be in the top 50. I don't even know who is this. Bryce McGowan, Elijah Harkles, Trey Alexander, DJ Davidson. Never heard of these kids. But they're dropping 30 a night in G League. Why is Bronny sitting on the bench?
Bronny James is trending again, but this time, it is not because of a highlight play, a breakout performance, or one of those feel-good progress stories. Instead, fans have started noticing something that feels unusual. And once people began paying attention, the conversation surrounding the Lakers and Bronny quickly became much louder. That is the reality of being connected to one of the biggest names in basketball history. Every minute on the court gets analyzed, every lineup decision gets questioned, and every move is treated like it carries a deeper meaning. Right now, many fans are asking the same uncomfortable question. Why does it seem like the Lakers trust other players more than they trust Bronny James? This is where things start getting complicated. On paper, Bronny looks like a player who should naturally be part of the team's future plans. He is in the NBA, signed to a guaranteed contract, wearing a Lakers jersey, and staying close to the team every single night. If you only looked at the headlines or official paperwork, it would seem like a normal young guard slowly adjusting to the league. But the reality on the court has looked far more complicated. The more fans have watched, the more they have started noticing a pattern, one that is becoming increasingly difficult to ignore.
Bronny James, he's 7 for 28 in 4 preseason games from the field. He's 2 for 13, I believe, from three-point range. He's got 8 assists and 8 turnovers. He's moving into year 2. This guy is not an NBA player.
It's not about the money at that point. My point months ago was that because of who you are, one of the top 2 players in the history of basketball, in my estimation, there's an immense amount of pressure that comes with that for his son. And when he talked like that, and what have you, anything that goes awry as it pertains to his son, there's going to be a microscopic eye, even more intensified, on Bronny James.
That pattern is becoming harder to ignore. When the game truly matters, Bronny James usually is not the player getting the call. And that is where things start to feel unusual. In a league where every roster spot matters and every coaching decision sends a message, many fans believe the Lakers are quietly showing exactly where Bronny stands in their trust hierarchy. Once people started noticing this, reactions came quickly. NBA fans understand the difference between real development minutes and low-pressure minutes when the outcome is already decided. They know the difference between a young player being trusted to grow through mistakes and a player staying on the bench until the pressure is gone. And according to many observers, Bronny seems to fall into the second category. The biggest reason this conversation gained momentum is because of what happened when the Lakers actually needed help. Injuries, missing players, and rotation problems created opportunities. With key names unavailable and the roster stretched thin, Many expected Bronny to get a meaningful chance to prove himself. But instead, the Lakers looked elsewhere. That decision spoke volumes to fans. In the NBA, coaches are rarely sentimental when games matter. They trust the players they believe can help them win in the moment. If a coach truly believes in a player's ability, hesitation usually disappears when the team needs answers. But in situations where the Lakers needed energy and fresh bodies, Bronny was often not the first option. One moment that especially caught attention was when the Lakers had an opportunity to give Bronny meaningful minutes against the Suns, yet chose a different direction. Instead of turning to him immediately, they leaned on other players first, including Nick Smith Jr. That decision became a major talking point. Not because Nick Smith Jr. is a superstar or proven veteran, but because he was trusted ahead of Bronny in an important situation. Fans noticed the timing more than anything. It was not simply that Bronny sat on the bench. It was when he sat. If the game is close, the pressure is high, and the team is searching for answers, but a young player still is not getting the call. Many see that as a clear message from the coaching staff. At this stage, he may not be part of the group they fully trust in meaningful moments. Of course, this does not mean Bronny's story is finished. NBA careers can change quickly, and young players often develop at different speeds. But right now, many believe the Lakers are not treating him like someone ready to contribute in winning minutes, and in the NBA, trust can mean everything. That is why this conversation has grown so much bigger than just one player. It touches on something deeper. What roster spots truly mean in a league with only 15 positions per team. Those spots are valuable, competitive, and highly earned. Because of that, some critics are asking a difficult question. Is Bronny holding a place that could have gone to another player who may be more ready to help the team right now?
How do you feel about the way Bronny James played?
So, it's unfair that he is there, is what I'm going to say. I think it's clear, the reason why he's there is because LeBron, has kind of made sure he's there. He's just not an NBA player. He looks, in my mind, almost worse than he was.
That is a difficult conversation, but it is one the NBA has all the time. According to many critics, Bronny James has not even been receiving high-pressure developmental minutes. Most of his playing time has come late in games when the result is already decided, the pressure is gone, and both teams are simply running out the clock. Those moments can help a player show effort, energy, or flashes of potential, but they are very different from proving you can handle meaningful NBA pressure. And that difference matters. Coaches usually learn the most about young players when games are competitive and mistakes actually carry consequences. Those are the moments that reveal who can stay composed under pressure. But with Bronny, many fans feel those opportunities have been limited. And even within the chances he has received, critics argue he has not done enough to demand a larger role. That is where frustration begins to grow. When a player gets limited minutes and still struggles to stand out, the conversation can shift very quickly. Instead of people saying, he just needs more time, the question becomes, if the opportunity was there and he still did not separate himself, what exactly are the Lakers waiting for? That tension sits at the center of the Bronny discussion right now. Fans are not only debating his age or development. Everyone understands he is still young and adjusting to the NBA level. The bigger question is whether a team trying to compete immediately can afford to dedicate a valuable roster spot to someone who is not yet part of the main competitive plan. That is where roster construction starts to matter. The Lakers are not in a rebuilding phase. They are built to compete and win now. Teams in that position need depth, reliable shooting, perimeter defense, and players who can survive playoff pressure. Every roster spot is expected to serve a clear purpose inside a competitive system. Right now, however, some critics believe Bronny looks more like a long-term project than an immediate contributor. And for a team with championship expectations, uncertainty can become costly very quickly. That is why this discussion keeps growing beyond just one player's stats. Fans are paying attention to the decisions being made around him. When other players are trusted in meaningful situations while Bronny mostly receives low-stakes minutes, many interpret that as a sign the coaching staff does not yet view him as part of the core rotation. That does not necessarily mean the organization has given up on him. It may simply mean they are not yet comfortable relying on him when games matter most. The numbers also add fuel to the debate. Critics point to inconsistent production, limited offensive impact, and stretches where turnovers or missed opportunities overshadow positive moments. Many of his contributions have come during games already out of reach, making it harder for fans to evaluate how much those performances truly translate to meaningful competition. That is where the criticism becomes more specific. It is no longer just about perception. For many people, it is a combination of statistics, coaching decisions, and the timing of his minutes that creates the feeling something unusual is happening at the same time. There is another layer to this story that cannot be ignored: the presence of LeBron James. As long as LeBron remains with the Lakers, Bronny will carry a level of attention and pressure that most young NBA players never experience. Every minute he plays gets analyzed differently. Every mistake becomes a headline. Every decision surrounding him is viewed through the lens of his father's legacy. That context changes everything. It shapes how people interpret his development, how critics frame his struggles, and how every success or setback becomes part of a much bigger conversation.
It hasn't been any improvement.
Too small of a sample size to say that he got
You
worse.
still see the same kind of stuff, like the drive left and then get up in the air, and then on the way down trying to throw like a lob that gets stolen. His three-point shot doesn't really look great either on the open catch and shoot.
But there is another important layer to this conversation. The reality is that the protection surrounding Bronny James will not last forever. Right now, much of the attention around him is tied to the unique father-son story happening inside the Lakers organization. But everyone understands that era has a limit. LeBron James will not play forever, and once that chapter ends, the conversation around Bronny will inevitably change. At that point, the expectations become much more direct. He will be evaluated the same way every other young player is evaluated, based on production, consistency, and whether he can genuinely help a team win games. If the results remain the same, the questions surrounding his role are only likely to grow louder. That is why many fans have already moved beyond the emotional side of the story and started asking a more practical question. Is this roster spot helping the Lakers win basketball games right now? Not from a marketing perspective, not for headlines or storytelling, but strictly from a competitive standpoint. Because when playoff basketball arrives, narratives stop matching. Teams are judged by execution. Coaches need defenders who can stay disciplined, guards who can knock down open shots, players who understand their role, and athletes who can handle the intensity of meaningful games. Those expectations are non-negotiable for teams trying to compete at a high level. That is where many critics believe Bronny has not yet earned full trust. And for some observers, that is not meant as an insult. It is simply viewed as an honest evaluation of where he currently stands. The NBA is a difficult league with very little room for uncertainty. One roster decision, one rotation change, or one missed opportunity can completely shift a team's season. Inside the league, people notice quickly when a player is not fully part of the trusted rotation. Nobody has to officially announce it. The minutes tell the story. The substitutions tell the story. Most importantly, the decisions made during important moments reveal what coaches truly believe. That is why Bronny's situation feels uncomfortable to so many people. If he were consistently forcing the issue, the playing time would probably look different. If he were clearly standing out in limited opportunities, it would be harder to keep him off the floor. If he were bringing undeniable defensive energy, reliable shooting, or clear two-way impact, much of this criticism would likely fade. Instead, the uncertainty itself has become part of the story. Fans are not only reacting to numbers or box scores. They are reacting to the feeling that the Lakers view Bronny as someone they want to develop for the future, while still hesitating to trust him in the present. That creates a difficult position for any young player. Visible enough to stay in the spotlight, but not yet trusted enough for meaningful minutes. Still part of the conversation, but not fully part of the main competitive plan. And because of the name on the back of his jersey, that pressure becomes even heavier in a smaller market. Perhaps this would simply be seen as normal development. Maybe the discussion would be quieter and expectations more patient. But this is Los Angeles, and this is the Lakers. Every roster move becomes a talking point. Every coaching decision gets analyzed. Every benching becomes part of a larger debate. And every minute Bronny does, or does not, play becomes evidence for people arguing about where he truly belongs.
It's you. You know the attention you automatically are going to bring to him. So to combine that with putting him in that predicament, you're asking us not to cover the sport. That's pushing it. So when I was talking about as a father, I wasn't talking about Bronny. I was like, forget him. He's going to be all right. I believe he's going to be a good NBA player someday. I really believe in Bronny. I think he's got potential. But I was saying to LeBron,
You know better because you know what we got to do. Why are you doing that? That's what I meant when I said as a father. If you have a problem, as I said, and this is why Rich Paul and I don't particularly speak much or anything like that, but I always have respect for Rich Paul. And this tip of